Welcome back to Converge. In this edition, we're exploring breakthroughs in the entertainment industry through the convergence of sustainability, leadership, innovation, and investment. In the age of streaming, monetizing music has become more important than ever before. So one company is using technology to make sure artists receive their royalties, with the backing of some music legends.
So this is the audio meter, all kind of built into a single unit with the microphones on the front, which capture all the audio reflections. Nice plug on the back. We have an eSIM built onto our board, which means that all of the music that we're monitoring and the data that we're collecting, that we can send that straight to our cloud without touching anybody else's network, keep it secure. This is in everything from gyms to retail locations, cafes. We're in schools, we're in nurseries, you name it. Anywhere that you hear music out and about, we are there.
Musician turned tech entrepreneur Ryan Edwards founded Audoo in 2018 with a mission to ensure artists receive due royalties when their music is played in commercial locations, and the inspiration came from a personal place.
I signed a record deal when I was 19. It wasn't meant to be. We put one single out. And then I spent the last 20 years in technology businesses, so data, worked in financial services tech, worked in app development, and a few years ago heard one of my songs playing in a very popular department store in London, and actually just was really intrigued to go, how do they know? How does the rights organisation know that my music was just played there? And what I found, through just very, very light Googling was that this was a huge problem with inaccuracy, and it just needed solving. So kind of my entire life came together then, from being an artist and struggling to make a living to being a technologist that solves problems and going, okay, let's bring this all together. So I built a very, very basic prototype at my kitchen table. So I went, okay, how can I recognize music, and started building in kind of algorithms and playing with everything. And from there had kind of a working prototype. With that, I then went and took it to few people in the music industry, literally reached out to them on LinkedIn and said, look, I think I've got something that will solve your problem. They all got very, very excited, and then suddenly realized, okay, maybe this is the moment that we turn this into a business, and off I went. The previous process before Audoo were people were taking manual surveys, so somebody would literally sit there with a clipboard and write down what was happening. They were looking at radio data, so samples, and trying to understand, and essentially coming up with analysis to say, we think this is what would be happening in the real world, where we've brought a new level of accuracy to each and every premises that we're in.
A number of legendary musicians have invested in Audoo, including Sir Elton John, and through his investment company, Sir Paul McCartney.
The investment journey for us, like any startup, has been constant. Over the past 5 years, we've raised nearly £18 million into the business. And then when we raised what we call our Series ABBA round, that was backed by a single family office, so that was £5.5 million. And the reason we call it Series ABBA is because Bjorn Ulvaeus from ABBA also invested in that round as well. So originally it was the Series A, but now we call it the Series ABBA. I always remember the first conversation with Bjorn, and he said to me, he said, look, I'd have killed for this data when I was a young artist. He said, it's really important. And then the second thing he said was, and also, I don't want to be paid for something that I didn't do and I didn't achieve. He said, I think everybody should be paid correctly. I said, well, so do I. I think exactly the same as that.
In addition to helping artists receive their royalties, Audoo's devices are providing some rather interesting data. In 2024, the most frequently played song in pubs globally was Brown Eyed Girl by Van Morrison. Gimme Love by Sia was the most popular song in florists. And Don't Dream It's Over by none other than Crowded House was the most played song in hotels. The analyst behind these insights is Hash Riaz.
We can look at the geographical location of a premises, and we can start to group play data by geography. We can look at individual premises themselves, and I think one of the most interesting parts is looking at industry sector type. So grouping premises into fitness or food and drink, retail. There's a lot of music data out there with the typical signals such as streaming or chart data or radio airplay, but there's not really anything that shows you how music's being consumed in the commercial sector, and that's what I'm excited about. We also track, obviously, the volume of music that individual premises are consuming as well. And we can look at live music venues, retail, pubs, clubs and bars, and we go a lot further to split retail into clothing stores, etc., etc. So we've done that in a way that as the data comes in, after fact, we can cut it and slice it in many different ways to suit many different potential partners or buyers.
The key thing for us is we started with data to ensure people are getting paid correctly. What we're starting to evolve now, and that we're getting requests almost on a daily basis, is from artists, management teams, booking agents, record labels who are saying, look, you have all this wealth of data, it's great that we're being paid on it, but now how can we use that for better intelligence? So, we're looking at artists and saying, okay, look, you want to go and tour Australia, you know what, you do really, really well in Melbourne. So, you should probably do 2 nights there, but weirdly, Sydney's just not playing you, or Adelaide is missing you, so kind of skip it. Don't put on the venue, don't worry about only selling 50% of tickets, be really, really tactical how you do that. So we see that as really, really valuable kind of insight in what they're doing. And then actually the second side is, when they've got a new release, how's it tracking? How's it doing versus their last release? Is it all working well? Is it because you've changed your sound? You need to go back to your roots. You need to stick with what you want to do because you're evolving as an artist, etc. Is there new audiences? And then the final bit really is commercialization. So it's really about using the data to make it actionable. So the artist can go out and go, okay, for my business as a whole, how and where do I want to use this?